your videos, you mentioned that you both are about 60 years old and some change. So for those of us that are, or for those of you listeners out there that are 60 years old and change out there, what kind of advice would you give them if they're thinking about maybe doing a cycling trip, but they're feeling hesitant or nervous? What would you tell them?
I would say go for it. I would say pace yourself and plan well and put that experience into your life, because it's worth it. You know, the joy and benefits that you get out of it far outweigh the trials and tribulations. And I would say definitely do it. You'll never regret it. And it's every day is what you make it. If you want to make it a day where you're, you know, kicking your own butt and putting in 70 miles, that makes you happy, fine. But if you want to take your time and smell the roses and, you know, meet the people and stop at little cafes and just, you know, go along, you know, on your own merry way and make it what you wanted, I think that's the way to do it. You can do that at any age. And like I said, you know, we met some people that were crossing the country on e-bikes. So, you know, it's not a motorcycle. You still have to pedal if you want to get some miles under you. So it's still a workout. It's still exercise. You're outside, you're on a bike, and you can still see the country. And it's so worth seeing. These trails are just so beautiful. You just, like I said, you can't see it from a car. You know, you can't even imagine how beautiful this country is until you see it from the interior like that, you know, from the trails and the
absolutely,
the parks, and boy, it's beautiful.
And you know, we from that standpoint, we weren't going like from Yosemite to Sequoia to Yellowstone. You know, we were just going through average America, and that was what was cool. I would say the two things I would say to older people who would be curious about it but feel reluctance. You know, one is there's tour groups. So if you want to spend the money, I don't want to do that, at least at this point in my life. But, you know, as I get older, I think I might be interested. But they'll sag your stuff for you from hotel to hotel. So that's one way to kind of get your feet wet, get a little bit of taste. You know, it's risk-free. And, you know, you just have to pay the money and you can see if you like it or not. So that's one thing I would do. The other thing I would do is just maybe plan like a 4-day, 3-day, even an overnight, and, you know, find a rail trail, find something where you've got a trail. There's plenty of them in the United States where you could go for 2 days and maybe take a train back to your starting place. And, you know, do the research on that, whether that would be the Great Allegheny Passage and the C&O Canal, which is Pittsburgh to Washington, maybe a couple of weeks there, or, you know, the Katy Trail, which we were on in Missouri. You can take it from Kansas City to St. Louis and take an Amtrak back. So these are, you know, there's ways that you can do it where you won't have to deal with the kind of tribulations of, you know, dealing with traffic or necessarily worrying about, you know, getting stuck out in the middle of nowhere, you know.
In the wild camp.
You don't have to go to any kind of extreme. I mean, we certainly weren't going to extremes ourselves, but, you know, there's ways to temper into it and kind of get your feet wet and try it out, you know.
Okay.